Hey there, it's me. I'm back. Cheat sheet for July 30th. Let's get into the cheat sheet Q&A. Interesting question. This is something that's come up in bits and pieces, but this gentleman kind of crystallized a concept that many are wondering about, and that is why are state job opportunities so different from one to another? For example, this gentleman said he used to live in California, and he actually came to Florida for employment because of the lower cost of living and what he thought was a more business-friendly environment. And what he found in his particular industry was that the prospects weren't as good here in Florida as they were in California, even with a higher cost of living. And so he ended up moving to the Northeast, into New Jersey. And what he's found out is that the job prospects indeed are better there, while the cost of living and taxation and everything else is much higher. So he was wondering why that is. Here's what it gets down to. It really depends on what industry you're in. For example, in Florida, we have a below average unemployment rate. Right now it's at 7.1% against a national unemployment rate of 7.5%. That means that you have a better chance of getting a job in Florida than you do the average of anywhere else. And speaking of specifically of California, well, California has one of the worst unemployment rates in the country at 8.5% right now. New Jersey has the fifth worst at 8.7%. So again, what gives for this individual? What it gets down to is what industry you're actually in. In California, they're number 2 in the entire country for technology. So if you're in technology work, your odds are going to be very good in California. If you're in other industries, not near as much. New Jersey, they have the most educated workforce in the entire country. So a lot of companies that need highly educated people will locate in New Jersey to take advantage of very educated individuals. So it really gets down to what does your state have to offer and what industry you're actually in. The odds, on balance, are better in a business-friendly state, so to speak, like Florida versus a Jersey or California, but not depending upon the industry necessarily. Let's take a look now at the overall economic picture. I was holding out on you a little bit at the end of last week. I was saving my final information for the second quarter until today. We're soon to receive the second quarter gross domestic product (GDP) number, and here's what my survey says. It looks like the average economists are in the neighborhood of about 1.6% or so, and I come in with a number of 1.1%. This is a number that is weaker than the 1.8 that we saw in the first quarter of this year. We continue to see that the discretionary income of many of us is really stretched. Higher energy costs definitely played a role in the second quarter. You did have the full effect of the sequester that washed its way through the second quarter. And ultimately what this shows is that the economy right now is really teetering. At 1% growth, you're not going to be able to grow a meaningful number of jobs, so continue to expect the overall employment picture to languish much the way it has. The other thing you can expect is to continue to see slow income growth, and that's a huge problem for many people that are just getting by right now. The good news is we're probably seeing the peak in the energy cost right now, and the third quarter looks a little bit better. Housing is the key right here. Housing is carrying our overall economy right now. If it can stay on track, we should be able to get through the other end of it and have a better economic outcome by the end of this year. If housing gives up on us, then we got issues. Let's move over real quick to something with regard to social networks and your kids. If your kids are using social networks and they're normal, meaning they're normal kids, they're lying. And they're lying in very big numbers. You probably have known that many kids will lie about their age when it comes to social media sites, but the extent to which it's prevalent is overwhelming. Research just showed that 83% of all minors who have social media accounts lie about their age. Obviously, they're saying they're older than they actually are. 83%. This is dangerous for any number of reasons, but especially because it allows them to perceive as though there's something they're not, establish friendship, so to speak, in contacts with people they really have no business contacting, coming across information that they simply have no knowledge to comprehend or should be exposed to. It's more important than ever before that you really know what your kids are doing when using social networks. The last one I'll leave you with is with regard to doctors and Medicare. We are seeing doctors defect from Medicare by the thousands, no exaggeration. If you take a look in 2009, just under 4,000 doctors, about 3,900, opted out of Medicare in this country. That number has increased by 258%, no exaggeration, since 2009. And now we have more than 9,500 doctors that have opted out of Medicare. The number was up greater than 30% just year over year. And so it's important for your parents or for you to see if the doctors that you need, that you care about, that you want to see, are going to be accepting Medicare, because there's a very strong chance that not all of them will, especially by this time next year. By the way, biggest complaint, no surprise. Lower reimbursement rates and increased regulation. For the complete cheat sheet, well, just check out the physical version right here.